Tony from CassetteCombat.com. Now, in my other videos I've mentioned that we've got a little Facebook group set up dedicated to blank cassettes. And one of the things that has come up recently is that we're talking about how cassette prices have risen. And we're not just talking long term, we're talking, they've risen pretty swiftly over the last 12 months. And I've been saying that, as more people come back to the hobby, more people want, there is more demand than there is supply. And pretty much every person that really gets into tapes turns into a hoarder, i.e. they buy cassettes that they're never going to be able to record on a lot of the time, simply because they think if they don't buy them, they're going to go up in price and they're not going to see them again. So they buy them, they take them off the market, and because they're off the market and essentially invisible, there's more demand, less supply, prices go up. So hoarding tapes does affect prices, but everyone understands why they're doing this. And yes, a lot of people have said that it could be me that's doing this. I mean, I've had comments on this channel saying, you're causing tape prices to go up, you're giving away all the secrets, I hope you shut this channel down. And as much as I see that and think, you're just bitter, I can't argue that perhaps my being here and doing these videos is part of the reason. But I mean, I'm not so far at my own backside that I think I dictate global cassette prices, because I really don't. But I want to counter this, because if you look at some of my previous videos, you'll see I do videos on stuff like Socky Mags and Tudors and SKC. I'm showing you a lot of cassettes that are, I think, under the radar, that if you just want to record, you can get these fantastic cassettes at non-premium prices. So you don't have to think that you're being ripped off all the time. However, if you want TDK SAXs and you want XLISs and you want the stuff that was always good and always expensive, then you're going to pay for it. And you can't be bitter because back in 2008 you could get these on the shelves of pound shops. I mean, I remember back in 2008 you could get 3 packs of Sony UX Pro in 99p stores for 99p. I don't know whether a lot of people are angry because those cassettes now are £10 each, or whether they're angry they didn't get a chance to, or at least didn't buy enough of them when they were 99p. So that's just the way it is. But on the strength of that, again, I'm doing another video now to show you some under the radar tapes. Now, these are UK based. If you're not in the UK, these probably don't mean a lot to you, but these are what I would call house brand cassettes. So if you look at this one, right, Dixon's was the biggest UK high street electrical retailer. Now, they were always part of they merged with a company called Curry's, and Curry's and Dixon's also bought a company called PC World. Now, what we have left now in the UK is Curry's, PC World, which also has Carphone Warehouse in Convergence. Now, I've got to say, I'm surprised they're still going, because the last 2 times I've gone into Curry's, I've gone, you know what? Thank you for making this massive shop and lighting it and paying staff to be in there. Thank you for putting all this stuff on display and powering it up. Thank you. I'll have that one, please. Here, take my money for it. And every time they've gone, we've none in stock. So I've gone, well, thank you for letting me discover this product and find out that I like it by demoing it in person. And now I'll go and buy it from Amazon. And that's a rant, but I'm surprised Curry's is still going. If you're not going to have the stuff in stock when you spent all that money on people and infrastructure, and people want to give you the money, and you've none in stock, then you deserve to go down. It's as simple as that. But anyhow, back to Dixon's. This was the UK's biggest high street retailer for electrical goods. And it's no longer with us. Like I say, merged with Curry's, disappeared. But whenever I saw Dixon's branded cassettes, they're always in packs of 10 and they're always cheaper than any other branded cassette. I never bought them. I mean, this doesn't exactly look spectacular, but you think, oh, what's this crap? Here's another Dixon's cassette. It doesn't look amazing. And this one here, Seisho, eventually turned into Dixon's in-house brand in the 80s. So, they're cheap Walkmans, cheap videos, etc., cheap televisions, Seisho branded. So these come from Dixon's, and then the other one is Boots. Now I'll show you this one, right? Boots is probably Britain's best known chemist. Now if you're young, and when I say young, you know, you're in your 20s, etc., you probably don't know this, but in the 1980s until about, I don't know, the mid to late 90s, Boots was the place to go, as far as I was concerned, for computers. Boots was the first in the UK to have Nintendos. Boots now is just a pure chemist, but in them days you could buy computers, computer games, videos, CDs, blanks. They sold all of them, as well as all the photography stuff that they also did. So, you know, Boots did quite a few cassettes of their own. I'm not looking at the 70s stuff here. This is stuff from the 80s that I'm looking at here. And then we've got, you know, good old Woolworths. Everyone knows Woolworths, so Woolco. We have their branded stuff as well. And I'm bringing this one in as well, Bush, because Bush now is an Argos brand, and it was sold mainly through Argos when I was younger, as I remember, but you could get Bush cassettes pretty much everywhere. But I put these in here because maybe they're not a house brand, but they're a generic low-end brand in the UK, and these are quite surprising cassettes. So, you know, I want to talk about this one as well. But the point of this video is, you see these now on eBay, Dixon's, Boots branded. They're relatively cheap, but underneath these there is some goodness, which makes them under the radar. Now, let me start off with this one. Now, eagle-eyed ones of you probably saw this already. This is the Boots CP2 Chrome. What is this? Well, it's a Maxell UD2. Can you see the oval shell? The hubs are a different colour because this has a tinted case. I think this is slightly later. This is the 88 version of the UD2. This comes from the 90s, so it's slightly different, but essentially it's a Maxell UD2. So on that note as well, if we look at this Boots FI, yes, you're right, you're not being deceived. The Boots FI is a Maxell UR. It's got the oval shell, it's got the same hubs, the same performance. It's a Maxell UR. Now, I'm going to take this one and this one at the same time, even though they're different brands. These are made by the same people. Now, if you look here, Swiss-made precision cassette mechanism. If you look at this shell, can you sort of see it's got like an effect around here which looks a bit like it's trying to emulate an MAR. And these holy hubs are very, very distinctive. Now, apart from this is very 80s with this colour scheme, but this is ICM of Switzerland. If you see Swiss cassettes, usually it's ICM. So this is ICM of Switzerland, who also made stuff like TSA. They also make Daimon. They've made lots of OEM tapes for a lot of people, and I found ICM stuff to be pretty damn good. I like the hubs, I like the shells, and the tape's very decent as well. And this goes for this Seisho, because these hubs here, distinctive, and also made in Switzerland. This too is an ICM, and I've recorded a few of these, and I really like these. Super ferric, it's not going to challenge an AR or an SKC-AX, but it's a very decent ferric tape. Now, the Dixon's DX here. Yeah, let's look at the back of this. Big graph, made in West Germany. If we look at just look at the window here. Just look at the window that you can see the tape in. Yeah, this is Agfa. It's the same shell. Is it the same tape though? I don't know. I'm gonna open this one up and test it. But the DX, Agfa LNX, they're very, very similar. Now, There is also stuff to be dangerous of. I mean, I'm not being unpatriotic here or anything, because I love Ireland. I spent a lot of time working there, and Irish are some of the friendliest, nicest people I know. But this is a 70s, early 80s tape made in Aiwa, and the only tapes I've ever had personally that were made in Aiwa, the Type 0, they're not very good, you know, like the Contec, etc. In the day, they might have been acceptable, using them in low-end boom boxes, etc. Yeah, but nowadays, be careful. If you're seeing these brands and these tapes, yeah, and you're seeing made in Japan, West Germany, Switzerland, Korea, I've not come across any that were made in France or Italy, because they would normally have been Sony BASF spin-offs. But if you've seen any of them countries, chances are it's a good tape that is rebranded from a good make. Made in England, made in Aiwa, made in Singapore, made in Hong Kong, or nothing at all. It's a bit of a pot luck. I mean, this one, the Woolworths Ferric, yeah? Now, these have sort of, I don't know, the sort of, I've seen a few tapes that look like this, and I'm not sure where they come from, right? And this has just made a mockery of me, because this is the other thing, right? You never know what you're going to get inside the wrapper, because you could have the same wrapper and it could be a different tape every time. This one, looking at it straight away with them hubs, this says to me Saihan, even though this isn't a typical Saihan shell. I like the black spokes. This says to me Saihan, but I've had these where they don't look like this, and this brings me to the Bush tape. Now, this is a very interesting tape. They all sort of look the same on the outside. In fact, here's a picture now of it with the wrapper on. Bing! But this one, when I opened it up, these hubs say Gold Star. However, I've had another one with these hubs, like this, bing! And that is made by Rax. So, the thing to keep in mind is that if you've got an all-opaque wrapper on it like this, you're not quite sure what you're going to get inside. It can be pot luck. So if you can, always try and get one with a very visible, clear wrapper so you know exactly what you're getting. So on that note, like I say, I'm going to take the DX90. In fact, and this is the only one no, it's not the only one I've got, but I haven't got one of these open. Now, I'm going to show you something very distinctive here, right? Watch the way this wrapper tears. I'll try and show you look at the way it tears. It's sort of like can you see along the edges there? It's got like a ripply effect. It doesn't tear clean. It has a ripply effect. Yeah, like sort of jagged. The reason I'm saying this is because this wrapper, this type of wrapper, the way that it's done and the material it's made of, can also betray who really made this. Because if you look at my video for Socky Mag, the Socky Mag wrapper tears this way and looks this way, and that's why I think this is an Agfa. Because, you know, this one is an Agfa, but it's not a metallic wrapper. So let's just see if I don't think this will tear quite the same way. But it does, look, can you see? If you look hard enough, can you see it's very jagged the way it tears? You know, the tear's in the same position and it's very jagged, and it comes off exactly the same way. Let's just, yeah, you see, again, I know this is hard to do on a video camera when you're not watching it, but listen to the wrapper, how it sounds. It's the same sort of wrapper, whereas this one isn't. This one isn't the same as these, and the wrappers can give away sometimes an OEM who made it. But if we look at the cassettes here, we can see very definitely that these are the same shell. So let's test the tapes now and see if they're the same tape inside. Okay, so I'm going to use my Aiwa ADS 950 again here, because I want to do a comparison between the Agfa LNX and the Dixon's DX90. So let's just bias up the Agfa. I'm not using Dolby. Actually, it would be good to fast forward it past the leader first, really, wouldn't it? Okay, let's have a look. Right, so we need some negative bias. Yeah, bring the level up. Okay, there we go. That seems biased up. As you can see, we've got a negative bias on there. Add some level, and yeah, it's pretty good. So, okay, so that's the Agfa LNX. Let's see how the Dixon's DX compares. Okay, right, this is a bit different. This needs more negative than the LNX. Bit less level, but it's there. So they don't seem to be identical tape formulations, but they do seem to be both Agfa. So let's just have a see how this cassette tape, which was from a brand I'd had never bought back in the day because it was Dixon's own brand, so it must have been rubbish. Let's see how that actually sounds when you record. There's a hiss. Now this is another track from the YouTube royalty-free library, and this is called Disco Funk. Sounded pretty decent to me. Let's just have a look at the tapes in these two. Yeah, the Dixons look slightly browner, but they're not a million miles off. But yeah, there we go. Brothers from another mother. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is, you watch my channel, yeah? Learn something from it. Don't complain about the cassette prices of the big brands that everybody knows. Anyone coming back to cassettes is going to go, I remember TDK, Maxell, Sony, yeah, and that's what they're going to buy because they don't know any different. What I'm saying to you is this. If you look at cassettes from, say, the mid to late 80s to maybe around the millennium, from store brands, yeah? There's only going to be cassettes made by a few people. It's going to be BASF and Agfa, if it's Germany. We've got Maxell here. It's going to be SKC Saihana Gold Star from Korea. We've got ICM from Switzerland. you know, there's very little Type 0 being made, and just check to see if they don't have made in England or made in Aiwa or somewhere that you don't normally associate with high quality. Sorry, I don't mean England and Aiwa don't make high quality, but I mean high quality cassettes. You know, apart from the Max cells, I guess. Oh, I'm getting tongue-tied. But what I'm saying is, use your love. The main thing to look at, if you can, try and look at the hubs. The hubs usually don't lie. These are ICM hubs. These are Saihan hubs. These are Gold Star hubs. Look for the hubs. They usually tell you. If you're going to get one like the Woolworth, which is wrapped, it's going to be pot luck for what it is you get. But what I'm saying is, use the knowledge. I'm trying to tell you that if you want good stuff to record on, it's out there. Don't follow the crowds. Look beyond the ability to take pictures and show them off on a forum or a Facebook page. Oh, look at these SAX I bought. You want to do that, you're going to pay for them. You want good cassettes that you just actually want to record on. There's plenty out there. Just don't follow the masses. Have a look. In fact, I might even do a little video on all the different types of hubs that will show you who the manufacturers are for the hub type. But like I say, Bounce Brand Cassette for sale. Who knew that they are a Maxell UD2? You know, some of you did, but what I'm saying is, I mean, look at this picture here, right? Doesn't look much that, you know, WH Smiths is a news agent here in the UK, right? WH Smiths Superchromes. But now look at the back. Yeah? Can you see it? Let me zoom in. Exactly. WH Smith, these tapes were made by that. So don't be afraid. You want to find some good stuff to record on that's still reasonably priced, that's under the radar. Look for mid-80s to the Millennium home store brand cassettes. It's as simple as that. So thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe. And happy taping until I do another video for you. Bye bye.